Jackson Viral wasn't looking for trouble. He was trying to avoid it. A former cargo hauler turned salvage freelancer. He roamed the outer edges of the Leary Drift, scavenging tech from long-dead starships and forgotten colonies. The pay was decent, the company was non-existent, and most importantly, nobody asked questions. So when his scanner pinged an energy anomaly in the shadow of Hydra 9's craggy moon, he didn't hesitate. He thought it might be a broken drone, maybe a jettisoned escape pod. What he found was nothing he could have prepared for. In a shallow impact crater sat a child. Small, motionless, curled up in a fetal position. Her skin a deep lavender with faint silver bioluminescent veins glowing along her arms. Her eyes snapped open as Jackson approached, revealing large, opalescent irises filled with what looked like starfields. She didn't speak his language. She didn't cry. She just stared at him with a blend of terror and exhaustion. Jackson knelt slowly, holding up his hands to show he meant no harm. "Hey! You okay, little one?" She flinched at his voice but didn't run. He noticed her leg gashed, with strange amber fluid oozing from the wound. Not blood. Something thicker. Her breathing was shallow. Instinct overrode logic. He wrapped her in a thermal blanket and carried her back to his ship, the Mantis. There was no time to wonder who or what she was. She wouldn't survive long in the crater. As he lifted off from Hydra 9, a distant tremor pulsed through the ship's hull. His sensors flashed red. Something was coming. Part 2. The hunt begins. Jackson patched her up as best he could. His medbay wasn't equipped for alien physiology, but he did what he could. Antiseptic spray, pressure bandages, temperature stabilization. The child slept for nearly 16 hours. Her breathing irregular but steady. He named her Nova. Felt right somehow. When she finally awoke, she didn't speak, but she mimicked. She watched him with wide, observant eyes, copying how he moved, even imitating his lopsided grin once. She was intelligent, quick. That much was obvious. But Nova wasn't the only one watching. 3 days after Hydra 9, the Mantis was intercepted by an unregistered vessel near the edge of the Proxima Expanse. No call sign, no comms, just silent pursuit. Jackson tried evasive maneuvers, dipped into asteroid fields, and powered down to avoid detection. Didn't work. The ship followed him relentlessly. Then came the warning shot, plasma beam across the bow. Whoever was flying that ship wasn't trying to kill him. Not yet. He boosted away, running calculations on his NAV console, trying to figure out where the hell he could go. Nova stood beside him silently, her tiny hand clutching the back of his chair. The pursuing ship finally hailed him. One word. Return. Jackson muted the comms. Not happening. Part 3. Secrets and Stardust. Jackson reached out to a contact on the black market spaceport of Gaines Core, a tech smuggler named Alira who owed him more than a few favors. Alira ran a bioscan on Nova, whistling low when the data loaded. She's not just alien, Jax. She's Ithirari, A-tier species. Genetic markers way beyond human baseline. Neural net efficiency like nothing I've ever seen. Ithirari, he asked. Never heard of them. You wouldn't. They're classified. Federation files redacted top to bottom. Rumors say they control their own region of the galaxy, way beyond our charts. And they don't like outsiders. What's she doing here then? Alira glanced nervously at the ceiling. I don't know. But if someone's coming for her, they're not gonna stop. The pursuing ship found him again within hours of docking. Jackson and Nova barely made it off Gaines Core before plasma tore through the docking bay. Alira didn't follow. She wasn't stupid. This time when the enemy ship hailed, The message was longer. Return the child. This is your final chance. Jackson finally responded. Who are you? Static. Then, her mother. Part 4. Mother's Wrath. The next 3 weeks were hell. No matter where Jackson jumped, across wormholes, deep space relays, even uncharted backwater systems, the Ithirari ship followed. West. Silent. Unrelenting. Nova began to change. Her wound healed rapidly, more quickly than any species Jackson had ever seen. Her communication evolved, first with gestures, then with bursts of image-based telepathy. She showed him memories, a garden of floating crystals, sky creatures made of light, a tall woman with silver skin and fierce eyes, her mother. And the crash, the attack, betrayal perhaps. Jackson couldn't decipher everything, but the pain in her memories was clear. He began to wonder, was her mother really chasing him to save her? Or to retrieve what had been taken? They landed briefly on Zathar 12, a mining colony in the Curus Belt. Jackson needed fuel and time to think. Nova sat beside him in the galley, drawing shapes in the condensation on the table, when she suddenly froze. She looked up. They're here. The station alarms blared seconds later. The Ithirari had arrived. Jackson grabbed Nova, sprinting for the hangar, but they didn't make it. The mother was already there. She wasn't what he expected. Towering, elegant, terrifying. Her armor shimmered like a nebula. Her voice echoed without sound, straight into his mind. You stole my daughter. She was alone. I saved her. You should have left her. Nova stepped forward. Jackson reached for her, but the mother raised a hand. Let her speak. Nova closed her eyes. And in a wave of light and thought, she projected everything. Jackson's care, his fear, the way he protected her. Laughter. The makeshift bedtime stories. The quiet moments watching stars drift past. The mother staggered slightly. Her eyes dimmed. She turned to Jackson. You changed her. She is no longer only Ithirari. Is that bad? It is dangerous. Part 5. Starfire. A battle erupted in orbit. Federation scouts, having tracked the Ithirari ship, moved to engage, fearing an interstellar incident. The Ithirari weren't interested in war, but they didn't back down either. The tension hit a boiling point. On the surface, Jackson, Nova, and her mother stood beneath the pale light of Zathar's twin suns. I'm not giving her up, Jackson said. She is mine. She's herself. She's not a possession. The mother studied him. You risk your life for a child that isn't yours. Why? Because someone had to. Nova stepped between them, looking from one to the other. Then, with a sudden surge of bioluminescence, she reached out and touched both of their hands. A pulse of energy flashed from her fingers. Jackson gasped as memories flooded into his mind. Not just hers, but the mother's too. The fear of loss. The rage. The guilt. The mother trembled. For the first time she looked uncertain. Nova was evolving. Faster than either of them could understand. She turned and pointed to the stars. Home! She whispered, voice crystalline. Not a command. Voice. Part 6. The Return. With the Federation and the Ithirari standing down from the brink of war, Jackson took Nova and her mother aboard the Mantis for one final journey, into uncharted space. The coordinates came from Nova herself. They passed through wormholes older than time, nebulae filled with singing light, and at last, reached a world with floating spires and endless violet skies. The Ithirari homeworld was breathtaking.